Good morning and welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing for Thursday the 16th of October. My name's Stephen Ridgway. You might have been aware, although if you're in the UK, if you were, then you were up at very odd hours. You might have been aware that YouTube had a global, very significant global outage overnight. Down Detector reports that around 1 o'clock in the morning BST, there was a very significant outage, which aligns with outages in other time zones that started in the evening yesterday and went through for quite a while. It does appear that it's all back. So far, there is no indication as to whether this is something to do with failed updates, infrastructure issues, whatever it may be. Nobody is saying that there's been a cyber attack on YouTube, but got to bear in mind that the information is not forthcoming yet and may never be fully. All back up again now. So yeah, if you sat there at 1 o'clock in the morning disappointed that you couldn't watch your YouTube shorts, at least you now understand it wasn't just you. CISA has flagged a flaw in Adobe AEM as a vulnerability with a perfect score of 10. Well, perfect, yes. So Adobe Experience Manager. Now, if you're not aware, presumably if you are using it and you may be aware of this vulnerability, or if you're using it anyway, you do know what it does. But for those of you that don't necessarily know what it does, it gives you the ability to manage, create and manage content across multiple platforms. So it gives you the ability to digital asset management. So where your videos, your images, so on and so forth, put together content and then stream it across multiple platforms. So it's kind of actually possibly a little bit like Restream that we use in one of its aspects, but it does many more things, and it's part of the Adobe suite, which if you've ever installed any Adobe software, you'll know that it has aspirations to take over the world, starting with everything that you do. But anyway, this particular component has got a vulnerability with a CVSS score of 10.0. The vulnerability is being tracked as CVE-2025-54253. And it is what they're calling a misconfiguration bug that could lead to arbitrary code execution. The vulnerable versions are any version of Experience Manager forms running on JEE versions 6.5.23.0 and earlier. So 6.5.0-0108, which was released in August, fixes that particular issue. So it is now on the known exploited list. So the federal agencies have been given until November the 5th to get patched and updated. As I said before, the known exploited vulnerability database catalog isn't fast to, they don't make random assumptions that things are being exploited and add them in there, but it is accurate. So if something has ended up on the kev, then it is very likely that it genuinely is being significantly targeted. So if you're using Adobe Experience Manager and you've not yet updated to patch for this particular vulnerability, now is the time to get on and do it, because otherwise you may well find that your machines are swept up in the current round of attacks. Okay, and then finally from me today, there's a good article I came across in HelpNet Security that talks about humanoid robots. So they Alias Robotics has been undertaking an analysis of Unitree G1 humanoid robots. Kind of, they're kind of cool. Robots are beginning to look more like robots from science fiction movies these days. However, this particular robot can be hacked by Bluetooth. So if you're within Bluetooth range, you can exploit the setup process to inject commands and gain root access, effectively taking control of the robot. The problem is based around how the robot handles its setup process over Bluetooth Low Energy, BLE. When a robot connects to Wi-Fi, it uses BLE to receive the network name and password, but the device fails to filter what's sent to it. So it's possible to send it commands which it will execute. This is made possible by the fact that security on that particular channel is pretty pathetic. First of all, and most worryingly, all the G1 unit robots use the same hard-coded AES encryption key. So once you know the encryption key, you can control any G1 robot. The other side of it is there are parts of the encryption environment associated with communicating to and from the units uses Blowfish encryption, which is not Blowfish encryption with a 128-bit encryption key, which is known to be, whilst not the worst, it's not acceptably secure. It's a reasonably fairly insecure. I suppose it's fairly black and white. Yes, it's an insecure, outdated encryption algorithm. It repeats patterns, basically. So you can begin to predict. And once you can begin to predict, you can begin to decode. On top of which, they've also discovered that these particular devices are busily hoovering up lots of information. Anything that is overheard via any of its, any of the information that's collected by any of its sensors is hoovered up, and it's sent to servers located in China. So yet again, there we are. We've got potential eavesdropping and or exfiltration devices. Now, fortunately, these robots are expensive and not common. However, if you are using one, you probably are doing stuff that is absolutely of interest to the Chinese Communist Party. So do expect that they will be taking an interest in what information they can gather. And again, it's well known that the Chinese approach to data is to collect all of it and then work out what to do with it later, because there might be stuff that can be used for influence campaigns, interference activities, and other things that we need to be more concerned about than we generally are. So, I mean, the article talks about the fact that, what are the lessons for industry? And the industry needs a new approach to robot security. I think that that's probably true, but I think all industries need a have a serious think about all of the stuff that we do that goes off to the cloud somewhere, and we don't really understand what happens to it. But that is a discussion for another day. So that's all from me for today.